and reading chat is that I'll speak slowly. Okay, unfold that. Okay, so the advantage with me doing using stop full harvester is that I don't drive the harvester through a ton of crops while I'm reading chat because I'm not paying attention to how full it is. As soon as the harvester gets full, it stops. Well, that is now incorporated into Farming Simulator 25. As soon as the harvester is filled up, it will stop, it will extend the pipe, it won't go driving through the crop. So we don't need that mod anymore. But there's a new one for round balers, which will, as the baler fills up, I think when it gets to about 90%, it slows down to 5 miles an hour. And as soon as it's full, it stops. And that is awesome because, again, when I'm doing round bales, I get very frustrated with, oh, it filled up, it's not picking anything up. Now I have to back up half a mile to go and get all the bits I just missed. New GPS is, it's okay. I mean, obviously it's not as all singing, all dancing as, what's his name, Wopster's, this thing. But it's sufficient. I don't think I'm lacking anything as far as GPS is concerned. I don't do a very complicated GPS usage on Farm Sim anyway. I mean, I'm kind of, there's no pay to add it to a tractor. It's just in the tractor now. Which, if you're driving a 1990s Fendt 500 Favorite 500, is probably not exactly accurate. I think having discussions with other farmers, you can add guidance steering to anything, but it's kind of expensive to retrofit it to an old tractor, as opposed to having the tractor come with it. Or I think in the case of Tom Pemberton's tractors, it's like it or even Millennial Farmers tractors. They have the attachments. You just don't pay for all the electronic gizmos unless you want to. But if you want to, they can just strap in the electronic gizmos and it's all up and running because the things the electronic gizmos plug into are already on the tractor somewhere. However, I do know of another farmer who generally drives very old equipment, like pre-2010 and 1990 and that sort of thing. He does have a GPS monitor in his tractor, and it tells him where he's been and what he's done. But it doesn't control the equipment because the equipment doesn't have automatic application, and it doesn't steer the tractor because the tractor doesn't have guidance steering attachments on it. But it's sufficient for him when he's going out spraying. He can use that to just plot where he's going, and as he drives up and down, the GPS screen will fill in where he's been so he can see what he's done and what he hasn't done. But and I guess for this implementation of guidance steering, you have to pay $15,000 to have it installed in a tractor. But if you look at Millennial Farmer, he doesn't have his GPS monitors plugged into every single vehicle. He moves them around for the vehicles he wants to use. So if it's seeding time, he will put a GPS unit on the seeder, he will put one on the tractor. But he doesn't need GPS on his ploughing and cultivating vehicles, because you're just driving up and down the field and you can see where you've been by what's not been done yet. I think he does have GPS on them, but he doesn't have to have the GPS receivers on his harvesters now, because he's finished harvesting. He can take the GPS receivers off those vehicles and move them over to the planting tractors. And obviously in FarmSim we can't do that. We can't buy 3 units and just say, okay, I want to activate it on my Magnum because I'm installing the units on that now. And then later on it's, I'm going to take the Zerion out. I'm not going to use the Magnum today. I'll just pull the GPS receiver off the Magnum and install it on the Zerion. Now with FarmSim 25, there's no additional cost. Every single tractor has GPS or guidance steering, so it is what it is. What you could do is set up a track for field work, but then not turn it on, just follow the lines on the ground. Just say the lines are actually on some screen in here, and I'm following the lines, and obviously the game puts them outside because it does, because we don't have working screens in FarmSim. As far as the workers are concerned, kind of nice. I have issues with some of the things the workers do. When they get to doing a corner, depending what piece of equipment they're hauling, it can get very painful. I think Disturbed Simulations on his Discord server was saying he ended up, he had the worker do a headland, but when it got to the corner, he would take over because he could get round the corner in 30 seconds, and it took the worker ages to get round the corner. And it was just painful to watch. 93% done okay. And I've found the same thing. I think it's with mowing. The worker is just horrible. In essence, and possibly also in harvesting. I haven't tried harvesting with it yet. But yeah, I think it's the conflicting need to stay within the boundary of the field and not drive on the crop, and so the worker really pulls some shenanigans to meet those sort of conflicting criteria just so it can do the job. And blocked by an object, you're probably stuck with another bale. So we will jump out there as soon as this contract is done. But it's certainly better. It's a big improvement on the in-game helpers that we have in FarmSim 22 and earlier. I think we finished. So fold that up. Bum, 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 bum. Completed that one. Okay. Hello. You seem to be stuck on things. All right. So he is missing bits. I'm not fussed. So long as we get most of this field done, that's absolutely fine. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the workers will do something like this. They'll come down the side of the field. And then they'll stop, and they try not to leave the bounds of the field. They'll back it up, and then they'll drive a little bit of an angle and do this bit. And then they'll stop, and they'll back up again. And then they'll do it again. And do the next bit over. And then once they've done it about 3 or 4 times, at that point, they'll try and straighten it up so that they can now go along this edge of the field. But all of that backing and forthing, it takes them about 2 minutes to do it. And if you've got a big field, it can add significant time to the contract length, or the job length. So I would say that there is still room for course play, although course play can possibly leverage off of the workers. And also, I'm going to take this in here, I think. Is that a good idea or not? Yeah, they can. They could leverage off the workers to a certain extent. Oops, that wasn't very good. And also, I've really messed this up. And just concentrate on the complicated stuff that we like to do. I mean, one of the things you can do with course play and auto drive is park a cart on the side of the field, and then either the harvester will drive over to the cart and empty. Yeah, I think that's the way it works. The harvester, once it's full, will drive over to the cart and empty, and then you can have the cart on instructions. If you're more than 80% full, go and tip at one of the delivery locations. But because you set up your own auto drive network, you can actually have it tip at your own placeables. It's not, like we have, go and deliver to the supermarket the hay, the bale sell point or exports or wherever. You can actually place your own things. That's part of the problem with the helpers in FarmSim22 is they can't deliver to your own places. So if you build your own bakery, for example, there's not an active worker path to that. But with auto drive, you can define it. So, as I said, there's still place for course play. I know we kind of got Seasons Light for FarmSim22. Well, that's still around. I do think that Realismus, or Realism US, did a very fine implementation of seasons, and we've lost some of that capability with what's in FarmSim22, but it also prompts realism is to go and do something else rather than reinvent the wheel every time a new version of Farm Sim comes out. So good things, bad things. Yeah. At least we now have seasons. It's just not the seasons we were used to in Farm Sim 1917. And I think the same is true with the GPS and the new workers. The workers, I mean, you can't argue with it. The workers have been improving leaps and bounds every version of Farm Sim that comes out. Now that Giants have decided we're going to do guidance steering, it's not as comprehensive as Wobsters, but it is kind of, good functionality, and they can tie the workers to it. So, hey, we've just got really smart workers by using a feature that is now a part of the game. We are struggling. Good grief. Am I slipping? Looks like the front wheels are slipping. The track's not so much. Guess there's gearing on the tracks. But yeah. But we've just had a complete redesign of course play on this version as well now. There's a whole host of new options that wasn't a thing before. One of the things we've now got is, rather than doing headlands, just go round the field 3 times and then do the middle, or do the middle and then go round the field 3 times. You can now do the ends only, the short ends. So I could do 3 headland rows at this end of the field, 3 headland rows at the other end of the field, and then do the rows up and down the middle. I don't have to do the side rows. I don't have to go round the field 3 times because, quite frankly, I don't need that clearance on the sides. Yeah, this is a steep hill and this tractor is not liking it in spite of everything else. Oh, come on, cruise control. Go. Okay. Okay, I'm intrigued. We have a cultivator that has 375 horsepower requirement. We have a large tractor with 60 horsepower. Yeah, add in steep hills and we are going to have issues. I've been having issues with steep hills since Farm Sim 17 on Lawfolds, which didn't have exceptionally steep hills, but we ended up running a triple mower set, single front, butterfly rear, on a Class Axion 940 because anything smaller couldn't manage to run the mowers and drive up and down the hills on the big field at the bottom of the map. But it's something we've always had issues with. Oh, good grief, what was it? I did a Polish map one time which had really small fields, and I had a tractor that had 90 horsepower, a cultivator that only required 80, and the tractor was spinning like crazy on standard wheels. I had to put wides on the front and back in order to get it to actually do the job and not slip. But it's not like I don't want, I can't use a bigger engine won't make any difference, I don't think, for this. Maybe it would, because we've got tracks, so it's driving the tracks that's a thing. Yeah, that is slipping. I wish I could have big wheels on the front, or wide wheels on the front. I don't know if that's an option. There is. broad track. Corner track. Okay. I think it's 25,000 to add that, but that might be an option that I should consider here. Okay.
Hi, Long Hollow. You don't allow me to say it.
Anyway, we're slowly levelling off this hill. I didn't know broad tracks was an option on this tractor, I must admit. But as we get down to the flatter part of this field, Silage 173.
Kids. What did he say? I don't know what he said.
He said hi. He said kids.
What about kids? I'm not kids. I'm not kids.
Anyway, 62. Oh, he's blocked again. Ugh. Unfortunately, I could not set this up to do. Actually, no, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move that one too. I couldn't set the baler up to do a. Well, you missed that whole bit, dude. Hey, what about this bit? I mean, ideally you want the baler to bale the middle and then the edges, because the edges are going to get in the way of it running up and down the field. With mowing, you want to mow the outside first and work your way to the middle, so you're not driving over grass that hasn't been cut yet and destroying it somewhat. But
Food.
with course play, I can set up a course on the mower and then copy it to other vehicles, but I can't switch around what it does first. That said, you can pick up a course halfway. So you could set up a go round the outside, go up and down the middle, position the tractor on the up and down the middle bit, and have it do that, and then when it finishes, position it back on the outside to do the headlands. Anyway. So yeah, new things on Courseplay here. Lumberjack mod's already on Farm Sim 25. They did patch it yesterday, but that gives you a easy to activate super strength if you want to use that. At the moment I've been trying not to. Even in Farm Sim 22 I'm trying to do things as natively as possible, because a lot of the stuff is not there anymore, or not there yet, should I say. So the fact that we do have guidance steering of some type on Farm Sim 25, I'm okay with using guidance steering here. We've still got helpers, we can do helpers, that's not a problem. And it is possible, if you